Today, how do I switch careers to a more creative field? If you're a woman looking for a network of like-minded people, if you're a freelancer, if you want to get into consultant, my guest today, Amy Swift Crosby, will help answer those questions. Stick around, watch us work. Welcome to episodio número 10. Yo soy su host, Jose Caballer, Chief Educator of the school, just to get my title straight there. Joining me today, guest expert Amy Swift Crosby, who is amazing, is going to help us answer the question, how do I switch careers to a more creative field? How are you, Amy?
Good, thank you, Jose.
Thank you for being here. We're going to answer the following 3 questions. 1, how do I know when I'm ready? That's a really big one. 2, how do I build credibility in my new field, whatever I might be doing? And the most important question, how do I generate sales? Again, if you're joining us for the first time, this show helps you accelerate your web design career by teaching you the creative, business, technology, and marketing secrets from myself with 15 years of experience and from our guest experts. If you're looking for something like how to install a WordPress template, how to learn HTML, CSS, design, you can check out lynda.com. It's below here. You can see it right here. You can also see it in the comments in YouTube or in the content. And Team Treehouse. Check that out if you guys are looking specifically for demos and those things. Otherwise, I want to introduce my guest. So my guest today, I met Amy at a long time ago, actually, and I've been to several of her events. She has an organization called SMARTY, which is dedicated to helping women, and occasionally some men, connect, learn, and make that transition into new careers and entrepreneurial pursuits. You know, with a bit of a cooler sensibility. This is not your mom's organization, even though I'm pretty sure your mom's super cool. So welcome, Amy. I'm really happy to have you here.
Thank you, Jose.
This is going to be an exciting show. You're actually our first guest co-host for the year. So
I like being first. Thank you.
It's a big step for the show. 2 minutes. Talk about yourself. Who are you? Why are you here?
Who am I?
Why do I like you so much?
First of all, I'm irresistible. My creativity is boundless. The truth is my background...
Don't be modest.
Yeah, I know. The truth is my background is as a strategist and a copywriter. So I worked in 9-to-5 jobs for a long time. I was an assistant, I was a marketer, and then decided to go out on my own as a writer and found that it was really hard to find community that was supportive and collaborative in the creative fields. It can be very competitive, and I didn't feel like there was a yoked connection in a cool way. As you said, SMARTY has a little bit of a different sensibility, and I myself am not a joiner, so I wanted to start a community for other non-joiners or rebels like myself who were in creative fields, who were starting businesses and in really cool businesses, and who were entrepreneurs and consultants who wanted like-minded support, education, programming, and tools. So that's why I started SMARTY, and I'm still a strategist.
That's awesome, and that's what I like, that you made that career transition from corporate to having your own kind of business and organization. You obviously worked on a lot of prestigious other organizations before that, in books, etc. Especially, I want to talk to a few members in our audience. If the people that this show is for, and we can bring up those graphics: the student, people who are about to get out of school and they want to get jobs; the freelancer who wants to make more money, make their career more efficient, etc. They're already out there, and whether they know it or not, they're already building their own business. The entrepreneur who's about to start or who's already doing it. How do they execute successfully? And the most important one, which today's episode is for, is a career switcher. If you're still in corporate America and you want to be liberated, you want to be taken out of the matrix, basically, and put into the real world of like fending for yourself, this show's for you. We're time boxing still, even though this is the first episode. We're not time boxing with the beeper anymore. So our time boxing is brought to you by Chrometa. It's happening invisible, just like Chrometa. Go to app.chrometa.com. No notes, no timers. No timers. That's actually great that we got rid of the timer. But we have classical music, and it comes up when we want to relax. And there you go. That's what Chrometa does. There you go. Relaxing time boxing, and that's great for creative people. So check out Chrometa, please. They're an amazing sponsor. So let's start Sprint 2 with that wonderful transition brought to us by Chrometa. And let's just talk about the basics. Those 3 questions, the first one, how do I know I'm ready? Like, I'm still at a job. I transitioned from a corporate job. How did you know you were ready? Like, what are the basics, the top line for that?
Well, I don't think there's ever a time, much like having kids, when you're like, I'm ready, everything's lined up. You do have to take somewhat of a leap, but you can't really be creative if you're worried about how to pay the rent, how to feed yourself. So having a financial cushion is the first thing before you even think about the real machinations of owning a business or becoming a consultant. You've got to have conservative estimates say about a year's worth of savings so that you can get by and not sweat about that. Clients can really smell desperation from a mile away. So if you're desperate and too anxious and too eager, it doesn't create a good presentation.
That's a really good point. So when I left Razorfish, I had a severance package. I had 3 months of salary, plus my first client was Razorfish. The day I got laid off, they called me from another office to give me a project. Oh, Jose, I heard you got laid off. That's so great. I need a job. So if you're leaving, make your first client be your current employer. If you did a great job, it shows a lot about who you are and what you're doing. But
totally. And they know you, they trust you, presumably, and there's already a relationship. So you don't have to build that part of it. All you have to do is present your talent.
Exactly. So we do have a title card for the 3 answers. I think that, there you go. So have a financial cushion. That's a great one. Number 2, talk to me about that, understanding your audience.
You have to know that there's a need for what you do and who is the type of person who would hire you. Sometimes people get so excited about their idea and their talent and the idea of just doing what they want to do that they don't think about the most critical part of a business, which is customers and sales. So you need to establish that there's a great customer base for you. And the third point, to specialize if you can. I mean, everybody who has a specialization really narrows down their audience. If you just say, I'm a web designer for anybody, it's really hard for people to know how to use you. But if you say, I specialize in women's products, lifestyle, and fashion, or I specialize in nonprofits, advocacy, and movements, I specialize in filming entrepreneurs, visionaries, and people with big ideas. That way, anytime you give somebody your card, you meet them at a party, you email them, you can push your specialization so they know how to use you.
So the question there is, how do I build credibility in my new field? And the answer is understand your audience and your customer base. And I think that's extremely important. People might underestimate the power of narrow, not niche marketing, that sounds to consumer, but of narrow casting. Like, here's who I'm working for. Yep. We've done it from day one, where even in our, we work for XYZ. And then the people that you attract are the people that you say you want to attract, and then wherever you are, I think the Bible verse is, or it's not a Bible verse, it's tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. Same thing with clients.
Yeah.
If I'm going to green conferences and I'll end up helping Al Gore. If we're into a lifestyle kind of brands, etc. For women, you end up doing the snacks, you end up doing all the products that we've done, and those are the case studies that then lead to more work like that.
That's right.
It's just getting that first.
The world is small, so the This Next people talk to the other .coms, and those founders refer you, and everybody wants to work with somebody else who's done a great job for them. It's just how it works.
Yeah. So the last one, should I consider? So the last question is, should I consider? Well, that's from the old script actually. The third. What's the third answer on the on there? For the title card for the third answer. It was actually a very interesting one because it's actually. Help friends who...
This is about establishing credibility and sales.
Sales is the third question, yes, there you go. I missed that most important damn answer there in the script. Sales, that's a big one. Let's talk about sales. We have about a minute in the time boxing.
Yeah, so the easiest way to get a sale is to work with somebody that you know and trust and who knows you and trusts you, who's going to give you a chance because you're new at what you do. So approaching somebody who either you've worked with before, a friend, somebody who you can charge a very little to, or even volunteer so that you can build your portfolio. It's really helpful to have that relationship first so all you're selling is your talent. What's the second question? Sorry.
No, that's the third. So the first one was about how do you know when you're ready. The second is credibility. The third is this one, which is how do you do sales. Yeah. People are like, they use sales, they use sales as a dirty word.
Yeah.
My experience as a sales is just sharing, like what you've done and what you do.
Sales is being useful. Sales is being useful to somebody else in the room. You sell yourself by being a useful participant in solving their problem. Good content, original thought, being a good listener, hearing what their issues are. People, before you start to innovate, they want to hear that you understand what their problem is because so many people don't listen. If all you do is reiterate, so it sounds like the issue you're having is connecting customers with this product to that action. and they say yes, and then they elaborate, and you listen more, and you take more notes. You aren't expected to come up with answers on the spot in a first meeting, so you can relax about that. Just hear them and hear them well, and let them know that you've heard them.
Awesome. So let's move on to the next segment. And you heard a little alarm there is because I actually turned on my my phone for the.
It sounded like a fire alarm.
Yeah, it does
here in
sound
the
like
studio.
fire. I need to change it. So we need to switch it to classical music. All right. So thank you. Now let's move on to examples, which is the second segment of the show. Examples, or ejemplo, which we have the title card. They're also in Spanish, and that's brought to you by GoDaddy. Use the code WEB40 to get $10 off any $40 purchase, and it's right here, WEB40 to get $10 off any purchase. A lot of people might be starting an online business. What's the first step? You got to register a domain. You got to get all that stuff set up. GoDaddy is a great solution. And right there, we're giving you $10.
We use GoDaddy.
You use GoDaddy.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Amy uses GoDaddy.
Yes, I do.
All right. So let's talk about how SMARTY works, and in the example section, I want to just show us really, as an example, what it is that you do. You know, and one of the reasons why I really wanted to have you here was because I love what you're doing with SMARTY. I have many women executives and entrepreneurs who watch this show and are in the process of switching careers to web design specifically, or to consulting. And you know, it's a primarily male audience, but what you're teaching applies to everyone.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, it's just so amazing. It's not businessy. It's not all about tech. It embraces more creative people. I know we have a video, a few-minute video that we can watch. It's, you know, the video is just talking about SMARTY. Can you set it up for me and just what?
Yeah, so SMARTY is a community for women in business, so either who are in smaller, more entrepreneurial roles within other corporations or who own their own businesses, primarily people who own their own businesses. And we produce events, thought leadership, we do workshops, how-tos, tactics, all around owning your own business so that you have sustained success over time. And what this allows people to do is to post questions or meet in person to get answers to things like, what's a normal day rate? What if a client doesn't pay me on time? What do I do if I haven't incorporated and I'm paying taxes on something, you know, more than I should be? All of those questions, especially when you're in the first couple years of business, are really important to answer, and a community does that for you.
Awesome. So if we have that video, let's just roll that.
I created SMARTY as a resource for entrepreneurs to give them education, inspiration, and mostly community around launching their idea. One of the toughest things about owning your own business is there is no guidebook. And what SMARTY aims to do is to give you the tools and resources to start up, to grow, and to be happy in a healthy business.
This is why community is really important, and why SMARTY has been such a godsend, because it really surrounds you with a bunch of other people who are also in the crazy, hairy cave of solitude and freaking out, and they totally understand what you're going through. So you've got all these sisters who are helping you figure out how to get through it, and to remind you that you can do it, and to really support you, and it's awesome.
Membership means hearing amazing speakers every month that you won't find anywhere else, coming to community meetings where you share where you're at in your process and let other people help you grow, an online resource where you can ask for anything that you need in your business and get an answer. The foundation course is a great way to get started with SMARTY. It's for early stage entrepreneurs as well as existing businesses.
I was really confused about my business. I felt really disheartened, like maybe I wasn't in the right line of work. I felt frustrated about how I could reach the audience and whether the audience even wanted to hear from me. And I thought that just coming into this course would give me some inspiration, but it gave me so much more. It really forced me to do some things that I was uncomfortable with. It forced me to do some things that weren't easy for me, and I came out of the course with such a clear idea about what direction I was going to be headed in my business. More importantly, so inspired, again, about what it is that I love about my business and how I was going to really make a big impact with what I was going to do.
I've been in the beauty industry for 20 years and a salon owner for 3 years now. And the foundation course was so wonderful for me because at a certain point you get tapped out on your skill level. So it's great to have a place that you can turn to for answers and direction.
Brain Circles are designed to give business owners a small group mastermind setting designed to break through challenges they face in business. It's 6 women, 1 small business expert, and it's proven to be extremely effective in achieving goals, staying focused, and finding innovative solutions to everyday entrepreneurial challenges.
I've been to a bunch of networking events where it's a bunch of chicks holding hands and it's very woo-woo. I didn't want that. I'm a small business. but I'm a real business. And what I love about the community is you get an opportunity to have true business people sharing and networking. I don't need to hold hands and cry. I've got that figured out.
The peer-to-peer program allows experts in the SMARTY community to share their skills and experience on topics like business plan writing, marketing, social media, office organization, and even making your own web video. They present micro workshops designed to fill in the blanks for business owners. These are small group settings, ideal for connecting, asking questions, and learning.
I enjoy women that are passionate, that are courageous, that have a lot of tenacity and determination to succeed. And the network that this group provides it's phenomenal. And it's nice to be in an environment where there are no shoulder pads and briefcases and pantyhose, but we're just free to be the women that we are. If you're looking for an environment where you can feel a sense of trust, SMARTY is the place to be.
The first thing you can do is sign up for our list. It's free, it's in the right-hand corner of the site. Add your name and email, and you can attend events either in Los Angeles or in the many cities where SMARTY is currently growing. We appreciate you visiting and hope to meet you soon.
Awesome, that was a great video. Thank you, Amy. And the reason, again, I want to really reemphasize this for our viewers who are watching this today. I wanted to share this because I think that one of the things that has helped me ultimately in everything that I'm doing is the fact that as a creative, I haven't gone insular and done it on my own. I've always gone out and actually, I hate the word networking. Just build relationships with people.
I hate the word networking too.
And ask questions. And a lot of trolls on YouTube are going to say, that was one big advertisement for SMARTY. Look, I'm just sharing what's available to our audience that is of value. I think it's just crucial to have a network out there that you use. And in our tech world, and I'm very purposefully doing this because it's not very inclusive of women. And even design actually is not very inclusive of women in general. It's very male-centric cultures, and if you go to the studios, etc. So suddenly, I'm a woman and I'm leaving the workplace to go into a new creative field. What do? I mean, I can't relate. I actually spoke at a SMARTY event, or at Natasha, one of the people in the video, had an event. I spoke a long time ago, about 2 years at an event that she hosted that I think was a SMARTY event. And I spoke, and the way the meeting ran was very different than what I'm used to. It was a lot more kind of casual. So there's a really a real purpose. So for the last segment, which is the practice segment, the 10 minutes, it's all you, Amy. I want you to coach me through this process. And the practice segment, I won't talk too much about it, but it's brought to us by our content partner, the school, theschoolrocks.com, theschoolrocks.com. You can check that out. So practice. So let's spend 10 minutes going through this. I set up a Google Doc, and hopefully my computer will show up on screen here. Can you bring up the computer real quick, see if it actually shows up? The one here in the middle. Excellent. Look at that. There's a Google Doc already ready to go. I am you're going to consult me. I'm about to leave, and you can set up the 10 minutes. Great. That'd be great. Let's do it. So how do I know where I'm ready? Coach me through this process.
Okay. So you've saved about a year's worth of your sort of financial cushion.
Saved a year.
Not sweating that at all. That's taken care of. 2, you've determined a need in the marketplace for what you do. You've looked around, looked at your competitors, looked at rates, figured out how many clients do I need in a year to make this amount of money. Think about scalability. Am I the only one who wants to do this, or do I want to hire an assistant at some point? Can I replicate my skills? Do I want to have an agency? Do I want to be a single person consultant? A lot of those considerations. Some of those you don't know the answers to initially, but as you work, think about them.
Do you recommend writing them down? Like, there are a lot of people who say...
I do. I'm a list person. I always write things down. I have a whiteboard in my office. I'm very visual, and most of your audience, I would think, is very visual too. Even outside of your computer. I like to see it, have it on my desk. It's a reminder of what I'm doing.
So almost like a roadmap.
A roadmap, yeah.
One of our viewers, Matthew Adonis, recommended a book called, and I used it to do the school with it. It's called Business Models. It's visualization of business models, and you just do it with stickies.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. You know, who are you selling to? What are you selling to them? How much is it going to cost you?
Yeah, sometimes you don't need to do these things in a very 2.0 way. They need to be accessible, and whatever systems work for your brain and trigger ideas for you is what you got to do. You got to use your own currency. So the third thing is to find a focus and a specialization. Sometimes out of the gate, when you're new at something, you'll take any client you can get, and that's okay, because you want to experiment on whoever is sort of coming your way. But eventually, you want to weed out. Like, if you really want to focus on arts and crafts and the Etsy crowd, then you're not going to be doing a lot of doctors and lawyers, and that's not the client that you want to attract. If you do want to do doctors, lawyers, and more sort of linear accounting people, like let's say you bring a creative sensibility to the kind of blue and gray crowd, is what I call them.
I love it.
Market to them, set up your website, set up your presence so that you're talking to those people in a language they can understand, but using a creative sensibility.
So know the language. So that's on the how do I build credibility. One of the things you said that was really important at the beginning, you might take any clients that come through because look, you're starting out. Yeah. But one of the things that I did since I knew I'm involved, we did it in our marketing plan or in our business plan in the marketing section. It said education, community involvement, and doing great work. That was what we were going to do to market ourselves, which I didn't know at the time was actually the formula for consulting services.
That's
expertise, doing great work, obviously. But I joined several kind of organizations, alumni council at Art Center. That led to millions of dollars of revenue through a 5-year cycle. So if I'm tracking the inception point of something that I did, and I volunteered so I could actually try out my skills, and there's no risk. Like, I wasn't getting paid for it. I was just showing them strategy and this, and they're like, you're really good at this.
Yeah.
My wife needs this, or I have a company.
That's right.
That's what happens. So
that's right.
How to build credibility? Do it. Go do it.
You do the work, and don't make it complicated for people to say yes to you. If somebody puts in a request, they email you, gosh, my wife needs a website. She's got a clothing company. I'm not really sure what our budget is. When you're starting out, take the meeting, hear what they have to say, and figure out an easy scope that's easy to agree to. Keep your fees moderate. And this isn't to say that you're not more valuable than those fees, but make it easy for people to agree, because your number one goal is to build relationships, do good work that can be referred, and to build your portfolio so other people can see the kind of work that you do.
Brilliant. Words of wisdom. Thank you. So volunteer and take the meeting.
Take the meeting.
I'm going to add that to the sales thing. Actually, volunteer in a way is both credibility, but it's also sales.
Yeah.
So take the meeting.
And also, when I first started out, what I would do is try to make myself useful to people who were doing the kind of work I wanted to do. So as a copywriter, I volunteered for my friend who was a head copywriter at J.Crew as a freelancer, and he had all these naming projects all the time. So he would just float his briefs to me, and for free, I would come up with names of products that he would then maybe use, maybe not use, but he ended up sending a lot of real work to me eventually because he could tell that I was good. And I did that all for free for 3 months.
So, but where's the balance? People, I think a lot about themselves, and they get really cranky when they're doing stuff for free. I have this happen all the time when I'm bartering with a creative. What they don't know is that the reason why I'm asking them to help me out for free is I want to test them out to see, not just their skills. Forget about their skills. That's an obvious one. It's a baseline. I want to see how they react to helping me for free. How do they negotiate that?
Right.
Because that gives me, obviously, an insight into how, in general, a relationship would happen.
That's right.
So that's really critical for me. I also negotiate against myself a lot. Like, I help the people that I'm doing projects with. Look, you should charge well. I said, which gets me into trouble. But the point is that working for free is okay. Balancing it or knowing when not to anymore, et cetera. I guess, I don't know. How do you do that?
Well, I think you start to understand your value after you become very seasoned at what you do. When you check your gut and somebody asks you to do something for free after you've been doing something for a long time, either it has to be a friend, there has to be a lot of visibility involved so that there's an incentive for you, or there has to be a compelling reason that speaks to your soul about why to do this for free. This has nothing to do with your ego. You got to take your ego totally out of this.
Take your ego out.
And being a consultant and owning your own business is a fairly ego-free exercise, because as long as your ego is involved, you will make the wrong decisions from day one.
That's really funny. So the cranky part, I'm a right brainer, extreme right brainer. Really, if I'm low on caffeine or low on food, I will definitely get a little cranky. I have to mitigate that obviously with exercise and all these other things that you do. But to be a consultant, you have to be very good with people. You're amazing with people.
Thank you.
I'm not as good, but close. Talk to me a little bit about that in the sales process. Here's somebody who's going to go out there to help people either build their websites or to figure out their marketing strategy or to be a developer. Developers are cranky too sometimes. Hoo-ha!
Yeah, well, they're not used to people.
They're not used to people, right?
Yeah.
They're used to living in a cave. No offense, guys. That's a joke, by the way. Don't write horrible comments. You know what? I will get horrible comments on YouTube. But just spend a minute on that. We have a few minutes left in this consulting me.
Mm-hmm. Well, sales is emotional intelligence. It's being able to read a room, figure out where you fit in, ask the right questions. You do not have to have the answers, but people feel something when you ask the right question because they know you're on the right track and they know that you are a curious worker, that you're going to ask them for their expertise and then recalibrate that into the context of whatever skill set you have and spit it out to them. They want to know that you know the questions to ask. I cannot emphasize that enough. That's your marketing. Asking the questions that they need to be asked is your marketing.
Brilliant, thank you. Ask the questions. Ask the right questions. That is your marketing. So if we bring up my screen, I think we can recap. Let's go back through this, the marketing. Again, just to recap these three. So how do I know I'm ready? All right, I'm about to leave my job. I saved money for a year. I'm not sweating it, so I don't look desperate when I go out to sell, which is not good. Determine a need, which is okay. What are the needs that people have? So user profiles, even, which people have seen on this show, are really important. I have them for our customers at the consulting level. Look at your competitors. How much are they charging?
Yep.
I've gotten actually the rates from all our competitors, from friends who work at the agencies, or
It's not hard to do.
It's not hard to do. Go outside of your computer, like put it up on the wall, put it up on stickies,
Yeah.
have it up all the time.
Yeah, and one kind of thing that people don't realize is that you're going from working in teams where you're mostly an executor, so somebody's telling you what to do, or the confines of the organization are so clear that you really know what your job is, to becoming an originator. An originator is somebody who not only comes up with ideas and solutions for clients, but who originates sales and action for their own company. So if you want to be a speaker on a panel, you have to originate really good work and build those relationships so that people come and ask you to speak so that you can have an audience, which will then drive traffic to your business. All of that stuff is original thinking versus executionary thinking.
Oh God, that is just mind-blowing. It's so brilliant because I see it all the time where creatives are waiting for things to happen or waiting for somebody else to tell them to do something, and
Yeah.
they're in their own business. I'm like, I don't know what to do next. I'm like, do you even have a roadmap? Let's put some classical music in there just to
Let's calm down.
Let's calm down about that one because that one
Jose got riled up.
I got riled up. There you go. Breathe heavily.
So much better.
So I love this conversation. This is a conversation that we could have for days, but this is only a 30-minute show. How can people get more from you and really benefit from the value that you provide the community? How do I find you?
You can subscribe to our newsletter at smartypeople.com. Then
bring
you'll
that up.
hear what sorts of events and workshops and panels we are doing. You can contact me personally at amy@smartypeople.com. And if I can help, I will. I do strategy generally for bigger organizations, and I do one-on-one coaching sometimes when I have time. But generally, I try to provide my value through the membership services of Smarty. And plenty of men come to our workshops and are very welcome.
They are. I can attest to that. And something, there's the website right there, smartypeople.com, and I want to really reemphasize, this idea of going out and reaching out to people and getting the knowledge you need. This show is obviously a really great resource, especially if you're a member of the producers program. So let's do real quick. There's a lot of ways you can get involved and show that you love the show. One of them is to win a t-shirt, and Amy is going to help me today in lieu of, she's going to, usually Ari does Vanna White, but today we're going to have Amy do it. Can you grab that bag right there, and we're going to pull out a winner. Just I'll be like I'll shake it, and these are the people who have submitted pictures of their sticker, and I'm gonna ask to just read out the name.
Okay, the winner is William Anjule.
Whoa, William from Miami. Cozy Will is his username on Twitter. You just won a This Week in Web Design t-shirt. We're gonna be sending that out to you. Thank you for sending in your pictures, and if you look again at our Facebook, How do I submit a picture? First, you have to order a sticker. So here it is. Add a sticker to your computer, take a picture, tweet your picture using the 2 hashtags. Just basically tweet us and we'll send you the link to getting a sticker. So tweet me at josecaballero.com, and you'll get that. And you can join me every Thursday for the School Live at 12 noon. And we're going to be going through a lot of the things that we're talking about here as it pertains to web design. This is your roadmap, your system, your operating system for consulting, for helping your clients. And we have a lot of really great people that have joined who are building their businesses, their consulting businesses with us, with me, every week. And we're doing the process together, learning how to do it. And then you can go out and be an amazing web designer, consultant, developer, start a new startup, everything that you want to do. Thank you, Amy. This is such an exciting show. Anything special coming up? We're pretty much done.
Well, we have about 60 events, panels, workshops a year. So on our website, you can see everything that we do. We do kind of big scale down to smaller scale with brain circles and small group coaching for the more tactics and unpacking really the problems of being an entrepreneur. So check us out.
Awesome. So I want to thank Amy for being awesome and being on the show today. I really look forward to having you again.
Thank you, Jose.
As a guest expert.
So great.
It's going to be great to have that. Thank you to Chrometa and GoDaddy for being awesome and the school. Join us live next week at 2:30 p.m., 2:30 East Pacific, 5:30 Eastern, 10:30 EDT, which is Australia, 10:30 a.m. actually. We should add an a.m. there. And don't forget to like us on Facebook. Don't forget to go to Google Plus and Twitter, Facebook. The links are below. The links are on YouTube, so just check those out. And please check us out there. We look forward to having you again next week on the show live when you watch us work.